Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating and shocking coins in American history, the 1965 Washington Quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another ordinary coin worth 25 cents. But what if I told you that a rare version of this coin has been valued at an unbelievable $1.9 million? That's right, a 1965 quarter that could make you a millionaire. So grab your change jar and listen closely, because this story is one every coin collector and treasure hunter needs to hear. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington Quarter was first minted in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. For decades, these coins were made mostly of silver, 90% silver, in fact, until one major change in 1965 that shocked coin collectors across the country. That year, the United States Mint switched from silver to a copper-nickel clad composition. This was a huge change, and it marked the end of an era. Silver prices had been rising, and people were hoarding silver coins, so the mint made the decision to produce quarters without any silver content. But as with any major change in production, there were a few surprises. Some 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These silver 1965 quarters are among the most sought-after modern coins ever made. They look almost identical to the regular copper-nickel version, but their composition makes them extremely rare and valuable. One of these rare silver 1965 Washington quarters sold for nearly $1.9 million because of its incredible condition and the rarity of the mistake. Now, here's what makes this coin so exciting. Most people have no idea they might be holding one. You could easily have a 1965 quarter in your collection, in an old coin roll, or sitting in your change drawer right now. But how can you tell if it's the valuable silver version? It's actually pretty simple once you know what to look for. First, let's talk about the edge of the coin. Regular 1965 quarters made of copper-nickel have a brownish or reddish color visible on the edge because of the copper core. But if you look at the edge and it's solid silver with no copper line, that's your first clue that you might have one of the rare silver quarters. Next, check the weight. A regular 1965 clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while the rare silver planchet version weighs around 6.25 grams. That difference might sound small, but it's enough for collectors and experts to spot. If you have a digital scale, you can weigh your 1965 quarter. If it's heavier than normal, you might have just found a treasure. Another clue is the sound. Silver coins have a distinct ringing tone when dropped gently on a hard surface, unlike the dull clink of modern quarters. It's a small detail, but experienced collectors swear by it. Now, let's talk about the condition. Even among the silver 1965 quarters, the one that reached $1.9 million was in extraordinary condition, graded Mint State 68 by a professional grading service. It was nearly flawless, with brilliant luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear. That kind of perfection adds massive value to any coin, especially one that's already rare because of a minting mistake. But that's not the only version of the 1965 quarter that can be valuable. There are also rare error coins, like double strikes, off-center strikes, and transitional errors, where the coin shows features from both 1964 and 1965 minting styles. Some of these can sell for thousands of dollars depending on the size and visibility of the error. It's important to understand that 1965 was a chaotic year at the Mint. They were transitioning away from silver, experimenting with new metal compositions, and trying to meet a massive public demand for coins. That environment made it easy for mistakes to happen, and those mistakes are what make coin collecting so exciting today. So what should you do if you think you found one? First, handle the coin carefully. Don't clean it, polish it, or try to make it shine. Cleaning a coin actually destroys its collector value. Instead, place it in a protective coin holder or plastic sleeve. Then, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. They'll test the metal content, confirm if it's silver, and give it an official grade. Now, let's talk about values. A normal 1965 clad quarter in circulated condition is worth its face value, just 25 cents. But a high-grade Mint State example can sell for a few dollars. A rare transitional error or silver planchet version can be worth thousands. And that one-of-a-kind silver 1965 quarter that sold for $1.9 million? That's the ultimate jackpot. a combination of history, rarity, and flawless preservation that collectors dream about. Think about it. A single mistake at the mint, a leftover silver blank from 1964, and nearly 60 years later, that small piece of metal becomes worth more than most homes. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the mystery of history, and the chance that something so ordinary could be extraordinary. Before you go, take a moment to check any 1965 quarters you might have lying around. Look closely at the edge, weigh the coin, and pay attention to the details. You never know, your next discovery could change your life. Let's recap the key points. The 1965 Washington quarter marked the transition from silver to copper-nickel. A few rare coins were struck on leftover silver planchets, and those are now worth a fortune. The easiest way to spot one is by checking for a silver edge, a heavier weight, and that signature silver tone. Keep it in pristine condition, and if it's verified as genuine, you might just have $1 million coin in your hands. So before you spend that old quarter or drop it into a parking meter, take one last look. History might be hiding right there in your pocket. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin stories and treasure hunting tips, and share this with your friends and family. Someone you know might have that $1.9 million quarter without even realizing it. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting and good luck hunting for your treasure. Would you like me to write a shorter, 1-minute YouTube Shorts version of this same topic, optimized for quick views and viral reach? Welcome back to the channel, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today, we're talking about one of the most talked about modern quarters in American history, the 1981 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might look like an ordinary quarter that you could find in your pocket, but what if I told you that some rare versions of this coin have been rumored to be worth as much as $1.5 million? In this video, we'll go over the full story behind the 1981 Washington quarter. The history, the design, the production details, and what makes some of these coins worth far more than their face value. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington Quarter series was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. It replaced the Standing Liberty Quarter and was designed by sculptor John Flanagan. His design was so well received that it remained in use for decades. The obverse, or front of the coin, shows the left-facing portrait of George Washington with the word Liberty across the top and the phrase "In God We Trust" to the left of his neck. The date 1981 appears at the bottom, and the small letter P under the ponytail stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck. The reverse of the 1981 Washington quarter features the iconic American bald eagle with wings spread, standing proudly on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" appear above the eagle, and quarter dollar is written below. This classic design remained the standard for U.S. quarters until 1999, when the mint began producing the popular state quarter series. So the 1981 quarter belongs to the final decades of that traditional design era. Now, let's talk about the composition and minting details. The 1981 quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it has a pure copper core covered by layers made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gives it that familiar silver color that you see on most modern coins. The coin weighs 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 601 million quarters in 1981, which means it's a common year in terms of overall mintage. However, not every coin is created equal. Some are ordinary, some are near perfect, and a tiny few are completely unique. This is where the story gets interesting. There are a few rare 1981 Washington quarters that have drawn massive attention from collectors. Because of unique minting errors and exceptional conditions, some have been found with double die errors where parts of the design, such as the date or the lettering, appear to be slightly doubled. Others were struck slightly off-center or on the wrong type of metal planchet. Occasionally, a blank mint for another coin like a dime or foreign denomination accidentally got fed into the press. These types of mistakes are called off-metal or transitional planchet errors, and they can be worth serious money. Collectors and experts have long talked about the possibility of a 1981 quarter struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from earlier mint production. If one of these were ever confirmed, it would be an extremely rare transitional error and could easily reach that $1.5 million mark that so many stories mention, although there's no official record of one selling for that exact amount. It's not impossible for a truly one-of-a-kind discovery to reach those levels at auction. When you combine rarity, condition, and historical significance, that's what can push a coin's value into the millions. So how can you tell if you have a valuable 1981 P Washington quarter? Start by checking the mint mark. It should have the letter P just below Washington's hair. Next, inspect the overall appearance. Look for any unusual details like doubling on the date or lettering or a slightly off-center strike. Check the edge of the coin if it has a solid silver tone instead of the usual copper stripe. You could be looking at a rare planchet error. The next step is to weigh your coin. A regular copper nickel quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but a silver planchet version would weigh closer to 6.25 grams. Even that small difference can mean everything. Condition also plays a major role in a coin's value. Most 1981 P quarters found in circulation are worth only their face value of 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples usually sell for just a few dollars. But when you find a coin in pristine condition with no scratches, full mint luster, and sharp details, the value can jump dramatically. High-grade coins graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. And if your coin also has a major mint error like a double die or off-metal strike, that's where the value can climb into the tens of thousands and possibly much higher. The truth is most 1981 P quarters are common coins, but what makes collecting so exciting is the chance that one of those rare minting mistakes slipped through unnoticed. The United States Mint produced billions of coins every year, and even with the best quality control, human and mechanical errors still happen. Those mistakes are what turn ordinary pocket change into legendary treasures that collectors dream of finding. To sum it all up, the 1981 P Washington quarter dollar is part of an important era in American coinage history. It represents the final years before the new generation of quarters began. While most are worth just a few cents above face value, there are rare varieties and minting errors that can sell for thousands and possibly even that legendary $1.5 million. If one of those mysterious silver planchet examples were ever confirmed, the key is to look closely, check your change, and never assume that an ordinary coin can't be special. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1981 P Washington quarter, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video about rare and valuable coins. Share your thoughts in the comments below and tell us what rare coins you found or what coin you'd like to see featured next. And remember, always check your quarters because the next one you find could be the hidden treasure worth a fortune. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting modern coin stories in U.S. history. Believe it or not, a 1994 P Washington quarter, something that most people might overlook as pocket change, could actually be worth a fortune. In fact, there are reports and auction stories suggesting that certain rare varieties of the 1994 P quarter have been valued as high as $1.2 million. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own collection or even in your spare change. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, it quickly became one of America's most iconic coins. Over the decades, the design has changed slightly, but the quarter remains one of the most collected coins in U.S. history. By 1994, these coins were being struck in huge numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, which is where that little P mint mark comes from. Now here's where things get interesting. The 1994 P quarter is generally considered common, with over 1 billion coins minted that year. But, like many things in coin collecting, rarity isn't always about how many were made. It's about how many survived with special features, mint errors, or unique characteristics that make them stand out. Some of these 1994 quarters were struck with unusual die errors, off-center designs, or even double strikes. And that's where the big money comes in. One of the most famous examples is a 1994 P Washington quarter that sold for over $1 million because it had a unique and dramatic minting error combined with an extremely high-quality strike and pristine condition. This coin was preserved in perfect mint state, graded by professional coin experts as MS 68 or higher. and that's what took it from a 25-cent coin to a record-breaking sale. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and the highest graded coins always fetch the biggest prices. So what exactly should you be looking for in your 1994p quarters? First, check the mint mark. You'll find it just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the front of the coin. The P stands for Philadelphia. If it's sharp, clear, and the overall coin looks well struck with full details on Washington's hair, that's a great start. Next, examine the coin closely for any errors. Look for things like double lettering on the words Liberty or In God We Trust, an off-center strike where the rim looks uneven, or even a missing design element. Another thing to check is the reverse side, the eagle design. Look carefully at the feathers and lettering. Some coins show extra thickness in the letters or unusual lines on the eagle's wings. Those can be signs of die doubling, which makes your coin far more valuable to collectors. A normal 1994p quarter in circulated condition is usually worth around 25 cents to maybe $1. But if yours is in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used and shows no wear, it could already be worth several $100s. Now, if you find one with a dramatic mint error or a rare die variety, you could be sitting on something that's worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the one that's been reported as selling for over $1.2 million is a proof-like example with an extremely rare minting flaw that made it unique, literally one of a kind. Collectors will pay huge premiums for coins that are one of a kind, but it's also important to know where to check your coins. Many people have found rare quarters in old coin rolls, inherited collections, or even in circulation. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and take a close look at your 1994 quarters. You never know, that little coin in your change jar could be your lucky $1 million find. And here's a quick tip. If you think you found something special, don't clean the coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and destroy its collector value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and give you a certificate that proves its value to buyers.so. To recap, the 1994p Washington quarter might look ordinary, but hidden among the billions of coins are a few rare treasures worth life-changing amounts of money. Look for mint errors, doubling, and high-quality strikes. Keep an eye on that mint mark, and always remember, condition is king in coin collecting. Who would have thought that a simple quarter could make someone a millionaire? That's the magic of numismatics, the study and collecting of coins. Every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth more than you could ever imagine. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more coin facts, rare finds, and hidden treasures you might already own. Share this with your friends and family. Someone out there might have that $1 million quarter without even realizing it. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting! Would you like me to tailor it to a specific channel style, for example, coin collecting education, storytelling mystery, or shorts format? I can adjust the pacing and tone for that. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today we're talking about one of the most surprising discoveries in modern coin collecting, the 1993p Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like a regular 25-cent coin that you might find in your change or in an old coin jar at home. But what most people don't know is that a rare version of this very coin has been reported to sell for an incredible $1.5 million. Yes, a 1993 quarter from the Philadelphia Mint, worth a fortune. Let's dive into its history, the details you need to know, and how to tell if you might have one of these valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Let's start with the background. The Washington quarter has been one of America's most recognizable coins for almost a century. It was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, it features the familiar portrait of Washington on the front and a bold eagle design on the back. Over the years, billions of Washington quarters have been produced, but not all of them are created equal. Some years and mint marks have unique stories, and the 1993p quarter is one of those fascinating examples. The P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck. In 1993, the mint produced over 600 million quarters, so on paper, the 1993p quarter sounds pretty common. But as every coin collector knows, true rarity doesn't come from how many coins were made. It comes from how many survive with special characteristics, unusual errors, or perfect condition. And that's exactly what makes certain 1993 quarters extremely valuable. The most famous example is a 1993p Washington quarter that combines several rare traits: a double die error, an off-center strike, and pristine mint condition. That one-of-a-kind combination made it a collector's dream. It was graded by professionals as Mint State 68, meaning nearly perfect, with flawless surfaces and full mint luster. When it appeared at auction, the bidding went wild and the final price reached $1.5 million. That's the kind of story that makes people start checking their pockets and coin jars immediately. So what should you look for on your 1993p quarter? Let's start with the obverse. That's the front of the coin. Look closely at the word Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. If you notice any doubling, where letters or numbers look like they have shadows or a second outline, that could be a double die error, which dramatically increases value. Also, pay attention to Washington's eye and hair. Sometimes doubling or distortion shows up there first. Next, flip the coin over to the reverse side with the eagle. Examine the feathers on the wings and the letters around the top that read United States of America. If any of those lines or letters look thicker or doubled, that's another clue you might have a valuable coin. And don't forget the edges. Some 1993 quarters show off-center strikes or partial reading, which means the ridges on the edge are missing or uneven. Errors like that are rare and highly collectible. Now, condition is everything. A worn 1993 quarter that's been in circulation is usually only worth face value. But one that's in brilliant, uncirculated condition can already be worth a few dollars. Coins graded Mint State 65 or higher can bring in hundreds. And if you find one with a verified mint error, you're looking at potentially thousands, or even that life-changing $1 million range if it's unique enough. One important thing to remember is never clean your coins. Many people make the mistake of polishing their coins to make them shine, but cleaning actually destroys the original mint surface and can erase the coin's value. Instead, handle your coins carefully by the edges and store them in a protective holder or a coin flip. If you believe you found something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and certify the coin, giving it an official grade that proves its value. So why do some coins like the 1993p quarter reach such staggering prices? It comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a global market where serious collectors compete for the rarest and most flawless examples. When a coin is discovered to be unique, with a dramatic mint error or a perfect grade, collectors are willing to pay whatever it takes to add it to their collection. That's how a simple 25-cent piece can turn into a $1.5 million treasure. Now let's put it all together. The 1993p Washington quarter might seem ordinary, but hidden among the millions of coins are rare gems that can change someone's life. Look for doubling on the letters, off-center strikes, and sharp, clean details. Keep an eye out for coins that appear untouched and still shine like the day they were minted. And remember, the P mint mark on the front, just to the right of Washington's ponytail, tells you it was struck in Philadelphia, the same mint where the $1 million coin came from. So before you spend that old quarter, take a moment to look at it closely. You might be holding a piece of American history, and maybe a small fortune. To wrap up, the 1993p Washington quarter teaches us a valuable lesson. Even the most common-looking coins can have incredible hidden worth. Always check your change, your coin rolls, and those old jars sitting on your dresser. Every collector's story starts with curiosity, and sometimes that curiosity leads to a $1 million discovery. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, and share this video with your friends and family. Someone you know could be holding the next $1 million coin right now. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting and good luck hunting for your treasure. Would you like me to create a shorter, 1-minute YouTube short script of this same topic, perfect for fast, viral coin videos? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1981p Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another ordinary coin that you could find in your change. But here's the shocker. Some of these quarters have sold for unbelievable prices, with one rare example reportedly valued at over $1.3 million. So don't skip a second, because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the history, the key details, and how to spot a potentially valuable 1981p quarter. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The coin was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, and it quickly became one of America's favorite pieces of currency. Over the decades, it's been minted in huge numbers, but only a few special years stand out for collectors, and 1981 is one of them. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters. The P mint mark on the front of the coin, right next to Washington's ponytail, tells you that your coin was made there. While most of these quarters are still worth just face value, some are incredibly valuable due to rare minting errors, exceptional condition, or unique die varieties that make them one of a kind. Now here's the part that makes collectors go wild. A small number of 1981p quarters were struck with unusual minting mistakes, double dies, off-center strikes, and even missing details caused by die fatigue. One of these ultra-rare quarters, in flawless condition and with an extreme double die error, ended up selling for a staggering $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.3 million for a 25-cent coin. What exactly makes a 1981p quarter worth that much? It all comes down to rarity and condition. The quarter that sold for that huge amount was graded by a professional coin service as Mint State 68, nearly perfect, with a highly reflective surface and a sharp strike. It also had a dramatic doubling on the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and even a faint doubling visible on the reverse side where the eagle is perched. Those kinds of details are what make collectors go crazy. But don't worry, even if you don't have the million-dollar version, you might still have something valuable. A 1981p Washington quarter in average circulated condition is usually worth about 25 cents. But if it's in mint state condition, meaning it's never been used, with no scratches, nicks, or discoloration, it can sell for anywhere from $10 to $50. And if it's graded MS 65 or higher, the value jumps into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's talk about what to look for. First, take a close look at the obverse or front of the coin. Check for doubling on the letters of Liberty or In God We Trust. Look closely at Washington's eye, mouth, and hair. Sometimes doubling appears subtly in those areas. Then flip it over to the reverse side and look at the eagle's wings, legs, and the words United States of America. If you see any thickness, shadowing, or doubling, that could be a valuable variety. Also, pay attention to the edges. Some 1981 quarters show partial reading errors, where the edge lines are uneven or missing sections. Others might be slightly off-center, where part of the design looks pushed toward one side. These are minting errors, and depending on how dramatic they are, collectors will pay serious money for them. Now, one very important thing to remember: never clean your coins. Cleaning might make them look shiny, but it actually destroys the original mint luster and can reduce the value dramatically. Instead, handle your coin carefully by the edges and store it in a protective holder if you think it's special. If you find a 1981p quarter that looks promising, consider sending it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and tell you if it's a known error or variety. Having that certification can make all the difference when it comes to selling or auctioning your coin. And yes, there's a real-world reason why these rare modern quarters can hit such insane prices. Coin collecting, or numismatics, is a passionate hobby, and collectors are always hunting for rare mint errors and perfect condition coins that survive decades without a single flaw. When only one or two examples exist in the world, prices can skyrocket. That's exactly what happened with the million-dollar 1981p Washington quarter. A perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand. So, the next time you're going through your change, keep an eye out for that 1981 quarter with the little P on the front. It might just be an ordinary coin, or it could be your ticket to a fortune. Imagine finding a coin that's worth over $1 million just lying around in your old coin jar. It's possible, and stories like that are what make this hobby so exciting. Before we wrap up, let's recap. The 1981p Washington quarter is part of one of the most collected coin series in America. Most are common, but a few have rare errors or exceptional conditions that make them extremely valuable. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, sharp details, and full mint luster. And remember, Condition and rarity determine the price. That if you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin stories and hidden treasure videos, and share this with your friends and family. Who knows? Someone you know might be holding on to that $1 million quarter right now without even realizing it. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting and happy collecting. Would you like me to make a shorter version of this script for a YouTube Shorts video, about 1 minute long? It works great for coin channels that post daily quick facts. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable stories in modern coin collecting, the 1991 P. Washington Quarter. It's a coin most of us have handled hundreds of times without a second thought. But what if I told you that one rare version of this same 25-cent coin has been valued at over $1.4 million? Yes, a 1991 quarter that looks just like the one in your pocket could actually be worth a small fortune. Let's break down the history, what makes it valuable, and exactly what to look for. Let's start with the history. The Washington Quarter was first issued in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. It replaced the Standing Liberty Quarter and quickly became one of America's most recognized coins. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features Washington's bust on the front and an eagle with spread wings on the reverse. By 1991, the design was already nearly 60 years old, and these coins were struck by the millions at the Philadelphia Mint, which is where that tiny P mint mark comes from on the front. Now, even though billions of quarters circulate every year, some specific years, like 1991, stand out because of minting errors, die varieties, and the few coins that have survived in absolutely pristine condition. The 1991 P quarter is one of those special cases. In ordinary condition, it's worth just 25 cents. But when you find a rare error or a high-grade example, the value can skyrocket into the hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. What exactly makes a 1991 P quarter so valuable? The short answer is rarity and perfection. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. The coin that reportedly sold for more than $1.4 million was a unique combination of factors. It had a double die obverse, meaning parts of the design were struck twice and slightly offset, creating visible doubling on the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." On top of that, it was graded as nearly perfect mint state 68 by a top coin grading service. The luster was flawless, the strike was razor sharp, and the surfaces were completely untouched. When you combine a major mint error with a perfect grade and a strong demand from collectors, that's where you get these jaw-dropping prices. Even if yours isn't the million-dollar coin, you could still have something valuable. A regular 1991 P quarter in average circulated condition is worth its face value. But if you have one that looks uncirculated, meaning no scratches, no dull spots, full mint luster, it could already be worth between $10 and $50. High-grade versions in mint state 65 and above can sell from $100 to over $500. And those with clear, dramatic mint errors can reach tens of thousands at auction. Here's what you should look for. Start with the obverse, or front side. Look carefully at the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see a faint shadow or doubling on any of those letters, that's a good sign. Then check Washington's profile, especially the eye, lips, and hair details. Any doubling or distortion can indicate a double die strike. Next, turn the coin over and examine the eagle on the reverse. Check the wings and the feathers. Doubling there or unusually thick lettering on United States of America or quarter dollar can also be signs of a valuable variety. Another thing to look for is off-center strikes, broad strikes, or missing details. Some 1991 quarters left the mint with part of the design missing because of die misalignment. The more dramatic the error, the more collectors are willing to pay. Even an off-center strike where just 10% of the design is missing can be worth hundreds of dollars. And here's an important tip for every coin collector: never clean your coins. Cleaning can scratch or polish away the original surface and instantly cut the value by 90% or more. If you think you've found a valuable coin, handle it by the edges and put it in a soft coin holder or a small plastic flip to protect it. Then, consider sending it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade not only protects the coin but also proves its authenticity and condition, which makes it much easier to sell or auction later. Now, Some people might ask how a simple quarter can ever reach a value of over $1.4 million. The answer lies in collector psychology. In coin collecting, when a coin is proven to be the only known example of its kind, or even one of just a handful, wealthy collectors will pay enormous prices to own that piece of history. It becomes more than just a coin. It's a piece of American heritage, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. So, before you toss that handful of change on your dresser or feed it into a vending machine, take a moment to look closely at your quarters, especially the ones from 1991 with that tiny P mint mark from Philadelphia. You might just discover that your spare change is worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's do a quick recap. The 1991 P Washington quarter was struck in massive numbers, but only a few rare examples have extraordinary value. Look for strong doubling on the lettering and the eagle. Check for off-center or broad strikes, and inspect the coin's condition carefully. A regular 1991 P quarter is common, but a perfect, error-filled, or high-grade example could be worth thousands. And one rare version has already made headlines for selling at over $1.4 million. But that's the magic of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story ends with a life-changing discovery. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, and share this video with your friends and family. Someone you know might be holding on to that million-dollar quarter without even realizing it. Thanks for watching. And as always, happy collecting and good luck with your treasure hunt. Would you like me to make a short, 1-minute YouTube Shorts version of this script too? Fast, punchy, and optimized for mobile viewers?